Hi, everybody. Welcome back. As always, I'm Fredrik.
Going as planned.
Sorry. 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 Yeah, keep on going. Come on.
No, I'm done. That's all I had to say
Yeah.
for this episode.
Yeah. You
He
said your
muted
thing.
me.
Okay.
No, I
I
just said,
forgot
hi
I'm
guys,
muted.
I'm Emil, and it's good to have you here.
Sorry.
And I think that's all I said.
That's good. Sorry. Sorry.
At first,
Oh,
I didn't
anyway.
realize I didn't realize you had me muted. So I thought you laughed about
Yeah.
what happened just before we started recording. So,
No.
but yeah,
Anyway.
here
I
we
mean,
are.
that's life, I guess. Yeah, here we are. So yeah, people, welcome to this episode. That's been a long time in the making. Let me just say that this
Yeah.
has been a long time in making. I was supposed to do this one and a half year ago, maybe on my other channel when it was named Whisky Pilgrim. So it's been a long time coming, people. So yeah, we're gonna talk metal and whiskey on this episode known as the Heretic. And I'm gonna tell a little bit why I use the word heretic. I guess it's just because in my young days, when I was listening to metal, I always felt like an outsider listening to metal, walking with metal gear or merch. I guess people were always looking at you funny. I guess so. I always felt like an outsider, like you were doing something wrong. That's why I chose that name. If anyone is wondering, because I felt like I was, a blasphemer or something like that. That's why the name. But this episode, I just want to say, I know Emily is not talking that much right now because I'm just going to keep on talking. No, but what you're going to see, at least when I'm talking, I think also Emil, is a little bit of the time we come from, the era we come from, with come to these music choices what we're going to talk about. But if you feel like, seriously, like, oh no, I don't remember this, no, maybe because you had a different era, what you were listening to and all that. But we would like you to share your thoughts and everything on the comment section down below as always. So and please hit like, subscribe, and all that good stuff as well. So Emil, do you have anything more
Yeah.
to say to get this started?
No, or I guess like just to answer your when you were talking about the name Heretic and stuff, feeling like an
Yeah.
outsider. I didn't really share that experience. I'm a few years younger than you, but
Yeah.
we grew up not far from each other. And I have to say, for me, it was kind of the opposite. It was more
Okay.
more of an inclusive thing, like the music. Um
Mm.
yeah, I never in that time I never felt that like being excluded or anything. It was very much an inclusive activity.
Mm. Yeah. Well, you say a few years younger, you make me feel so old right now, or so
But I
young,
am.
depending on what
I'm
you're gonna say.
like I'm
Yeah.
like 5 years
Yeah.
younger than you.
Yes, you are.
I
You
am.
are.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's get started. Emil, can you remember the first metal or heavy metal song you ever heard? Do you remember that?
Oh, I just now realized that's the only one I didn't write anything down on. But
Okay.
no, I don't remember like the first one.
Mm.
Uh, but I do remember my dad had two CDs or two. I think there were two double CDs in the car, and one was Black Sabbath, like best of collection, and the other one was a Pink Floyd, uh, also
Mm.
best of collection, I think, or maybe it was The Wall. I think it was a best of
Mm.
uh, album. And I remember listening to. I remember specifically listening to "On the Run" with Pink Floyd, which is one of their heavier songs, more in the rock and roll vibe. And I also remember, in particular, I remember the song Black Sabbath from the band Black Sabbath from the album Black Sabbath. I think
Mm.
the album's called Black Sabbath as well.
Mm.
Like the one do
Mm.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one I remember the thunder and the guitars and yeah. So it started quite early. I was hooked quite early on.
Good. That's a good upbringing. I like that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I'm actually gonna, yeah. Mine was also Black Sabbath, but it wasn't that song, the Black Sabbath. It was actually a Paranoid, and I remember it
Mm.
so well, even to this day. When I heard that song, I was sitting on the couch in our living room. My mother was cooking food, I guess, dinner, and they had this commercial from a TV shop. They were called back then. You could call in, you can order stuff, and they
Yeah.
sometimes had music. That was a complicate or like a complete album of rock history, you know. And the first song they started on that commercial was Paranoid by Black Sabbath. And I have never in my life heard music like that because my mother listened to something we call dansband here in Sweden, which is quite famously known for its ridiculous clothing style during the 70s and 80s.
It's basically Swedish
Yeah,
Swedish country music, happy country music.
yeah, yeah. So I was brought up by that. So when I heard it, I was like to my mother, "Mommy, I need to have this." And yeah, and she ordered it to me actually as a birthday or Christmas gift. So, and after that, I was just hooked on it. So Black Sabbath, Paranoid for me, definitely. That was my
Very cool.
gateway to this kind of music. And I remember
Yeah.
so fun because just when I heard that, that guitar riff and all that with the intro, I was like,
Yeah.
wow. It was just like
Yeah.
starstruck. I was like, what is this? I've never heard anything like this before in my life.
Yeah.
And I think
That
I
was
went
the
to second grade.
yeah. And that was that song was like the second one. After I listened to the first one, that was
Yeah.
the second one I would go to every time. I think Children of the Grave was also on that Best Of album, which is another great song by Black Sabbath. But then later on it gets more like, the Offspring was very big when I grew up and stuff. So but the first seeds were
old school.
Very old school. Still great stuff to this day.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's very good when you're talking about like Offspring or later on, because that's where we're gonna head right now. Actually, can you name 5 important albums from your youth, and maybe a little bit why? Also, why they were. We can take one each.
Yeah. First, I wanna do 2 like honorable mentions since the theme of this talk is like metal, but I have 2 albums that aren't metal. Because before I got into like hard rock metal, that kind of stuff, I was big into hip hop. And the first album that I like bought as an album and listened to front to back in my Walkman was the Eminem Show.
Oh,
and I was big fan of that album. And still like the nostalgia, and even without the nostalgia, it's just a great album by a great artist. And no, I don't think that was on the Eminem Show, right?
wasn't that the first album?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not the first one. It's the one with like Sing for the Moment and
okay.
Cleaning Out My Closet and
Okay.
And the second one is Get Rich or Die Trying by 50 Cent.
Oh, cool.
I just want to mention those 2 because they were like the first 2 albums that I got into as like albums. Had a big influence on me for a big chunk of my life. But the first, like more to the hard rock kind of style that I want to mention is Americana by The Offspring. Which is an album I would listen to with my. I had a friend who had that album, and I remember the art, what do you call it, cover art?
Yeah.
Of the on the album with like the weird squid snail thing, being like really scary and creepy. And songs like Pretty Fly for a White Guy,
or The Kids All Right.
Yeah, and what's the one? I'm always drawing blanks when I have to name the songs.
Why don't you get a job?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I mean,
Real
the music
classics.
videos. The music
Yeah,
videos.
very good music videos. Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I actually want
Do you want
to
to?
start where you started by saying music
Yeah,
you listened to before this. Actually, talking about Eminem, actually, I could also do an honorable mention with Eminem, the Marshall Matter LP, the first one.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, rap is rap for me, but that album was that was good. I mean, that was a time that, at least in my view, a classic album. It is, Stan, doing what her name Dido, sampling one of her
yeah,
songs, and I mean, it was just an interesting album. No matter what you think of politics and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it was an interesting album for that time as well when you're growing up, you know.
yeah,
So definitely,
definitely.
but an album I want to highlight is actually it does contain one of my absolute top 10 favorite songs in that album. Me and my friends were listening to this like crazy all the time, especially one of their songs there. Every party we had, there was always this song playing, and it could go repeat forever. Even some of my
Yeah,
friends had this as an outro song when they were going out, leaving the room, they would blast this song. And that was Rammstein's album Mutter.
ooh,
And that was Ishville. My friends played Ishville, especially watching the music video with the
yeah,
hostage
such a great
taking.
song.
Yeah, we would play that all the time and drinking beer or whatever, doing shots. So, but my favorite song is Sonne. I mean, I love that song. I think that's such a
Yeah,
wonderfully composed song. I mean, it's just perfect to me. I mean, it's a perfect song. So that's a Rammstein Mutter for me.
very cool. Very, very good album. Full of
Yeah,
classics.
yeah,
It is. Do you want me to take the next one?
yeah. Of course, of course.
Now the problem is,
Mm.
I told you earlier, yeah, I have too many written down, and I don't know which one I
Yeah, but I
should.
mean, do an honorable mention.
So
Then. It's okay. I mean, because I think people want to hear.
this might be my top six, but we'll see. We'll see.
Mm. Mm.
We'll do this. The next one, anyway, is
Yeah.
going to be Dark Light by him. You know him?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the Finnish band.
Yeah, a very like soft metal band. But that was like the first band that you could probably call a metal band that I was a really big fan of. And
Mm.
Dark Light has like all the classics. That was their big breakthrough album. They had like, let's see here, Vampire Heart, Wings of a Butterfly. That's one that most people know.
Mm.
Killing Loneliness. Yeah.
Is that Season Fear the Reaper cover in that one as well? The
Uh,
Seasons Don't Fear the Reaper. Because I know they did a
yeah,
cover on that one. That song is a really good cover.
yeah, but
At least in my opinion.
not on that album. But they have other good albums as well.
Yeah.
But that was like the one that I was big into. Big fan of him.
Yeah, I mean, their hymn symbol with the heart and the pentagram.
Yeah,
It's quite
very
iconic.
iconic. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, we never listened to him, even me and my friends actually.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna go with an album. I hope you have this album on your list. It's no problem if you don't have it. But I think this is, for me at least, this is an album that like signify, or at least the time when I come from,
I
when I grew up.
yeah, I think I know which one.
You think, okay? It's actually the first time I heard this song. It was on at my stepfather's before he and my mother moved in, and he had cable. I didn't have cable, so life was quite short in that way. It was boring as hell. So when I was in there, they had like a rock themed hours or something like that. And this song was playing there, and I was like, wow, two front people standing there is doing this for like 2.5 minutes. That was cool. And that is Linkin Park with Happy Fairy. For me, that
Yeah,
is like, I mean, no matter what you say, how they changed there and what happened to Chester later on with his passing. But you know what? That album is a classic to me. From the early 2000s, that is a classic album. Because I think every song in that album basically was a single. Or wasn't it? It was like what Californication by Red Hot Chili Pepper was. This is what this one was, too more heavy stuff. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
A
it is a
timeless
classic. Yeah.
in my opinion.
It wasn't for me that wasn't a big part of like my
No?
musical library at that time. I knew I liked. I remember I listened a lot to In the End, but that was it. Like that song was I really really liked that song, but I never like got the album, and that's a reason why this was kind of hard for me as well, because the way we're gonna get into this later, but the way I like got music, the way I acquired music, the way I listened to music, because when you were growing up, it was more CD based, I guess.
Yeah.
When I grew up, it was MP3 players. So like it was bits and pieces from different albums. So when I say like Dark Light by him, I listen to like their whole discography, like one song from every album. But that one has like the most songs that you understand what I mean. So like for Linkin Park, I listened to that one song because someone sent it to me, and that was it. And the same can be said for my next entry as well, which is I could just write the whole band, because this band was the band for me growing up. It was System of a Down, Toxicity.
Ooh, good choice.
Still
Good
one of my absolute favorite albums to this day. I think the band that I like System of a Down is the band that I know that has the strongest like discography. Like they have like one or two songs that I don't like, and every other song is great in my opinion. They're so consistent, and they have their own unique style. But obviously Toxicity is their big iconic album with Chop Suey and Toxicity and Aerials and Prison Song and Dear Dance, whatever else. So
Atwa as well.
Yeah.
Atwa.
So fantastic album, fantastic band. The first song I heard with them was probably BYOB, which is not on Toxicity.
Yeah.
And
no, that's a
Chicken
next
Stew.
album.
Yeah, it's on Hypnotize, I think. And Chicken Stew, which is a really funny song about going into the refrigerator and eating pizza and stuff.
I mean, Chop Suey is a dish, but they're talking about angels.
Yeah, the thing is, I think they wanted to name it Suicide, but they weren't allowed, so they changed it to Chop Suey, just so people would get the reference. I think that's. I've heard that.
Yeah, and then a few years later came a band called Suicide Tendency.
Yeah.
So
different label, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
interesting thing about Toxicity was released 1 week before 9/11 as well, and had like a lot of war themes or like political themes. So it was very, the group, they spoke to a lot of people in that time. Their music.
I remember it was Suicide Silence, not Suicide Tendency. Suicide Silence, I think, was the band name. No, but I have to say an honorable mention then for that album you just spoke about, actually, because I pretty much just forgot about that one. But my third album, like I said, I always know the places of some of these albums when I listen to them the first time, and this was also on a program. I'm gonna come that later on to the next thing we're gonna talk about after this. And I watched that music video when these guys comes out on stage, fully dressed on this what's called a coat, or like not coat, but overall, what it's called, one-piece suit basically, and they had masks on. So, and there were 9 of them at that time. Slipknot.
Oh, who could it be?
Yeah, who could it be? Yeah, 9 people going out. I mean, Slipknot with Wait and Bleed, on that album, the self-titled Slipknot. That was like a big game changer for me. That was like the first time I heard something really heavy. And some people say it's not heavy. Well, if you do listen to that album, it is quite chaotic and it's so angry. It's, at least in my opinion, it does fight with Walk from Pantera, who is more angrier when you hear them, because they're both like, you seriously, someone is really pissed off.
Yeah.
But I think that album for me was so important because, all that you're feeling like a teenager, teenage angst, whatever we can call it, that album could capture that emotions of you and release it on those songs. I just, fucking cool album, in my opinion.
Yeah. You're right. Cool album, cool band. I was not a huge fan of Slipknot growing up. I liked like Before I Forget because it was on Guitar Hero basically.
Okay.
But I got more into Slipknot later when I was a bit older. But I had a lot of friends who were big into Slipknot. But they were like, at that period, I was in a different section of it. I wasn't so much into the new metal scene as you would, with Linkin Park and stuff as well. And the Slipknot kind of fell into that category, even though musically they're not very similar at all. But I want to mention some. I'm gonna have to make this a tie, I think, between two albums. Just after I say I wasn't big into new metal, I'm gonna mention Disturbed, but never mind. Because on a tied like place here, I'm gonna mention both Indestructible by Disturbed, which came out when I was like 16 or something, and I listened to that album front to back, like day in day out. Fantastic album. Like every song is really high quality. It was, I think, the first album that they produced themselves and stuff. So it was really, it felt like really coherent. Like they had the last say in every part. Really love that album. And also I wrote down "Are You Dead Yet" by Children of Bodom. But the thing is that they were also part of that, like getting an MP3 sent to me via a messaging service and stuff, and like downloading one song here and there.
High tech. That's so high tech for me. We burned CDs, man. We burned CDs.
I did burn CDs, but I was like 7 at the time. So I mean, and I also did like cassette tapes, but I was 5.
Yeah, I know.
Technology happened fast.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 13 or 14, we had iPod shuffles like this size.
Yeah.
You could fit 200 songs on there. So nobody bothered about albums and CDs anymore. At least the people I knew.
Quite died out. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, but
you did
once I got older, I see the point in it, as I grew older. But back then it was just song by song.
Yeah.
But Are You Dead Yet is a great album by Children of Bodom.
Okay. So did you do your number 4 and 5 here?
No. I have done 1, 2, 3. This is number 4, tied for number 4.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Or number 4, the fourth one, yeah.
Yeah. So my number 4, I actually changed my number 4, but I'm going to do an honorable mention. I do want a band or a band name from one of the members, I guess. It would be Merle Manson, Mechanical Animals, Dope Show. That kind of stuff. I mean, that was a cool album. I just want to say it right. I love that album. White, what's it called? Yeah, one of the songs there. The one that he do realistic, not realistic, but he do like JFK's shooting in that music video.
Yeah.
For example, that is such a good ass song. I love that album. I think that's a really good album. Personally, I think so. I have a friend who's a huge Merle Manson fan, so we would play that all the time, sitting there having fun and doing things. That was just such an important album for me. But the one I do want to say, actually, I do want to point this one album out. That's my real number 4. That would actually be an album from a singer from another band when he quit that band and started a new one. That would be Soulfly with Max Cavalera. That would be the album Primitive. For me, I mean, that was such a fucking cool album. I mean, they did collaboration with Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Jump the Fuck Up, one of the songs, but also Back to the Primitive is such a good ass song. I mean, they mixed the tribal music from Brazil with death metal. I just thought it was just really cool to listen to. So yeah, Primitive by Soulfly.
I know Sepultura also made the Roots album. Was that before or after?
When he left. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't remember really when he left. Actually, I think that was sometime after that. I mean, they did Chaos AD and they did some other ones as well. I mean, those are good
yeah,
albums. I should have put them
yeah. But I
there.
mean,
Kind of probably more.
like the thing with the tribal music was big in on the Roots album
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
probably.
but that's all I I really like Sepultura, like the few things I've heard, but they were never a big part of my musical world at any point.
No.
Just a band I knew of that I knew were like good, but
Mm.
wasn't a big fan of for some reason. Uh, my number 5 or number 1, if you want to
Ooh.
put it that way, it's not going to shock
Okay.
anyone. It's going to be Master of Puppets by Metallica. It could easily have been Kill 'Em All, because Kill 'Em All. I kind of listened to Metallica in like chronological order. Everyone starts with like Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters, and that stuff. But like, I really liked the first album. Then I really liked the second album and stuff. But Master of Puppets was and still is my favorite album ever. And just I don't get tired of it. It's fantastic. The best heavy metal album ever made. Like, I think the guitarist from Lamb of God said something that I agree with. His name is Mark Morton. I think he said once something like, if you were to give someone one album that's to define heavy metal to someone, it would be Master of Puppets by Metallica. That's like the purest form of heavy metal music, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do want to make an honorable mention because I had a little bit hard time there with mine.
Ooh.
I do want to say Rage Against the Machine with Rage Against the Machine, their first album, because that is a class. It's a rap metal. I don't care what people say about rap metal. That album is solid. Seriously,
Yeah.
it is one of those classic from that time, and it's still a classic today. I mean, Sack de la Rocka's lyrics and all. Even if you're not into politics and that kind of stuff, I used to try to stay out of it. But that whole album is fucking good. I mean, Wake Up, seriously. Oh my God, Bullets on Parade, I think is also in there, maybe. But I mean, it's such a good album. Killing in the Name,
Yeah.
especially. I mean, fuck, man. They were such a good album, such a good band. But my album, I would say number one, is actually one of the groups that I really loved back in the days. I mean, they were so big. I mean, their music videos always interesting to watch. Quite a lot of production values on their music videos, and it was a different time then, I guess. I mean, I don't like what they're doing now. If I should have not listened to anything, that was actually Corn. Actually, Corn, with Issue, album Issue. I mean, that was to me like a really good album. I could also take it maybe Freak on a Leash with the special bullet going through everything with Seth.
Yeah.
What's called Seth MacFarlane, I guess, not the guy from the Family Guy, but the guy who created Spawn, which is a fucking amazing comic. He actually did draw the first part of that music video from Freak on a Leash, but this is Issue. The album was just great, in my opinion. So that is like one of those I remember from my time.
Yeah.
But Rage Machine
Korn is a cool band.
Yeah, but I mean, Jonathan Davis haunting lyrics, and it's just this weird way of doing vocals, feel these bass playing with what's called slapstick, whatever.
Slap.
Slap, yeah, and not slapdick. I felt like slapping stick. No. And Monkey and Head with on the guitars, yes, so cool. And then David on the drums. I mean, I remember their names. It was just so cool.
Yeah,
watching their music videos. So that's it. That was the top 5, I guess. You remember from your youth. The next thing we are actually, going to talk about here is do you remember these bands? Just take out some bands. I don't know if people remember them. Do you remember these bands when you're listening to? Maybe not everyone listened to them. So you want to start, Emil?
No, because I got nothing basically. I was so caught up in this.
Yeah.
So you get us started, and I'll see what I come
Yeah.
up with. What
I
sparks
can
in my
take some
head?
bands. I can take the first two, maybe. I
Go
guess.
ahead.
Yeah, my first one would be Spineshank or Spinshank, depending how you pronounce them. They were like this electro new metal band that came out for four group members. I mean, I just liked what they were doing. Then they quit after their third album. I mean, they just broke up or whatever they did, and they came back later on. But I didn't like their new album. They did release. I think it wasn't for me, but I really like what they were doing. It was like electronic new metal, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. I personally really liked it. The second one will be a band mostly because I really love the lead singer's vocal. I think he is, in my opinion, maybe one of the top 10 best vocal singers in metal, in my opinion. I mean, he has such an incredible voice, and that is Flaw. It was a new metal band, or new band. They did one album called Endangered Species, but Krill's Volks, whatever his name is, fucking hell. I mean, if you listen to his voice, you realize that man has potential, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I never heard of
Yeah.
either of those.
No, that's cool. No. That's why I'm saying. Do you remember these bands? Because maybe no. I mean, Flaw. Basically, I came across them by accident in the music record store. I'm gonna talk about later on.
Yeah.
That was else I would never heard of them. So yeah, do you remember anything, or want me to keep going?
Yeah, you keep going until my brain
Yeah,
starts firing.
yeah. Next one would be American Head Charge with the Art of War. I guess there was also like you had Slipknot. There were 9 people. You had Mushroom Head. There were 8, and then you had American Head Charge. There were 7, and that was just the album is a little bit here and there, but it had their own different style. I would say they did tour with Slipknot in the beginning, at least. But their song, just so you know, is so cool. So it's such a good song, in my opinion. And I think it has a little bit to do with also with how the band was started. It has to do with drugs.
Okay.
Because I think the band started with rehab. Actually, that's how they started. When 2 of the members, the first original members, started doing
Yeah.
rehab. So it has to do with drugs. I think that song a little bit. And I guess I can keep on going there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Next song or band actually is a band also that has something to do with Slipknot. Believe it or not. This group only released one album before the split, unfortunately. That was a group known as Down the Sun. There were also like this they have 2 front singers. One of them had a face tattoo, a tribal, because at that time tribals were very cool.
Yeah.
So he had a tribal on his face, and they had a lot of face piercing and all that. They looked like basically like people. If your daughter would bring them home, one of those band members home, you would be really worried about her safety. They looked like they were really mean people. They probably were the most nicest people. Who knows? But that album, especially Medicated, they were like really angry with electronical beats and other stuff as well in there. It was quite heavy, but there, unfortunately, just one album and then they were gone. Because there was a
Yeah.
huge potential with that band, unfortunately. And I guess I can take my last one.
Sure, go ahead.
And this is a band named after a kung fu movie, apparently, or something like that. They took the inspiration of their name. That is 36 Crazy Fists.
Yeah. Though I've heard of them.
Yeah. I mean, their first mainstream album, The Bittersweet Home, or Bittersweetness, or whatever his name, The Bitterness, The Star, I think it was called. The first album, especially when I heard the first song on that album, I was like, wow. The release of the single they did on that one, I was just like, the guitar riff on that song was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the singer's vocal because he's such a special vocal. It's not beautiful, it's just really weird. It sounds like he's in agony. At least on that album, it sounds like he's like, but it's such a cool because it works with their instruments, what they're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, Emil.
Very cool. I mean,
Yeah, I think so too.
there weren't really a lot of bands that I was like, ooh, I'm a huge fan of this band. except for the ones I've already mentioned. I mean, of course, like In Flames and stuff, and Soilwork, at the Gates. But I mean, they're very well known. But there are a bunch of bands that like had one song that I remember like being really big. Like Alien Ant Farm made a cover of Smooth Criminal.
Yeah,
I really
I
like
remember.
that. I still think it's cool. I don't listen to it much, but I remember it being like a really cool song. Don't know anything about the band, like what they did before or after or today or anything.
No, you bring back so many memories by just talking about Smooth Criminal cover.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
That's good.
that's what I'm gonna bring to the table today.
Yeah, yeah.
Godsmack was a band I was into for a bit. Have you heard Godsmack?
Oh yeah, Awake album.
Like
I
the
had it.
Enemy, Awake, yeah.
Greed.
Very, very particular voice he had.
Yeah, Scully or Sully, I think his name is.
Yeah, I have no idea what his name is. As I said, I know nothing about these bands. Like I listened to a few songs. There's a band called, I think there's a band called Soil as well, who did like a few cool songs.
Yeah, Soil. Yeah, not to be mixed up with Soilwork.
No, exactly. I think that's how I found them. No, the reason I found them was because System of a Down has a song called Soil, and there was like, or if it was on their Wikipedia page, that before they were named System of a Down, they were named Soil. So I tried to find a song, songs from by Soil, and I found this band. And they had like 2 or 3 cool songs. I don't know. There's also a band called Silverstein. Have you heard Silverstein?
Oh, I remember that.
They did a song called "My Sword versus Your Dagger."
Okay, no,
or something.
I thought it was Silvershare. Silvershare, the year 3000, 2000.
No, I don't know what that is, but yeah, also a band I remember. A kind of lesser known metal band, at least back in the day when I listened to them, was also Silosis, but they're kind of big now, I think.
I have not listened. I know you talked a lot about them.
Yeah, I think you might like that actually. And I don't know. I'm looking through my Spotify playlist as we speak. That's why I'm like, if I look distracted, that's why.
Yeah, no worries.
I also like Death Clock. You know the show Metalocalypse.
Coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're actually a pretty cool band. Got some really cool songs. So yeah, I could go on like this, but I feel like it's gonna get boring pretty soon. But like, as I said, I think that's a product of like how which we're going to get to in a moment, like how we got the music.
Yeah.
Because I didn't buy albums, I didn't have to get into any bands. I just, this is a cool song. And if I was lucky, I found out the name of it. I still remember a song we used to listen to in my buddy's car. And we just call it, like, I think it was track 8 or track 11. Because nobody knows what song it is. We just remember because it was a burned CD in his car. So, I mean,
interesting.
That's the way it goes.
And you know what? If you're watching this video, please write in the comment section down below if there's anything you want to point out or tell us about, everyone else watching or reading the comments, a little bit of your story. Because this is a little bit trip down memory lane,
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're going to come to a really big trip down memory lane, because this is how you acquire music from that time. Because I need to be very honest. We both come from small towns. I think my town is actually bigger than yours, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, on a Sunday, it was more cheerful to be at a cemetery and be in downtown, because more things were happening in the cemetery than downtown. That is how boring my town was during the Saturday or Sunday. So, I mean, I would actually want to go first there, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, the first thing, how did I require music from that time? That was actually a TV program on our channel 1, which is a state-sponsored channel. And that was actually a music program to have every day, or at least Monday to Fridays, from 6 to 7, I think it was, wasn't it? I think, or maybe 7, yeah, 6 to 7. That was called Vox Pop, led by a very beautiful lady, Josephine, whatever her name was. I remember. I think all mostly guys watching that had a crush on her at one point. That's who led the program. But they actually did sometimes have like a metal special. They had like 1 hour of metal, and they tried to squeeze in so many metal songs they could there. And I remember, especially one of my friends, he was always recording when it was that, and we would watch the replay at his house, sitting there headbanging. But every now and again, when
Nice.
they did, like, you could call in, you could vote for music to stay on the charts they had there. Sometimes they actually did have music there that was metal. It was quite cool, I think. And there was also a
Nice.
little bit information about them. So, yeah, that was one way how I acquired music on that day. Because I didn't have cable.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like those 5 years made a huge difference in what were available to the both of us. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember at all like being introduced to much music from via like MTV and stuff. I remember watching MTV and like the Headbangers Ball and stuff on MTV and other
Oh,
channels and
yeah, I forgot about
music
that.
programs and stuff. Yeah, but most of my music was like a friend would send me a song. We used MSN Messenger back in those days.
Mm.
So like, oh, check out this song, and I got like "Man-Made God" by In Flames or something, and yeah, something like that. BYOB by System of a Down, and then you listen to that song. Then you go. I went on my computer, started up either BearShare or LimeWire, which were like the two pirating programs you used
Mm.
on your computer back
Mm.
in those days. Every file was like loaded with 500 viruses and stuff, but we didn't care.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
Mm.
And then later on, it became torrents instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember
I
looking
remember
up
Napster.
in Napster, but Napster was before my
Yeah.
time actually. But
Yeah.
Napster kind of started all this. Then it was LimeWire, BearShare. Um, I remember going on torrent sites like the Pirate Bay and stuff when torrents became a thing, and like looking up huge music, like metal collections, like gigabytes
Yeah.
after gigabyte with songs, and just downloading it and keeping it on a computer, liking like 5 songs of the entire 1,000 song list, and then like deleting everything else, doing it again. So that's basically how I got all my music. I didn't buy an album until I don't even remember buying an album, to be honest, ever.
Okay. Well, talking about buying, this is a place where I acquired most of my metal. This is actually how I found out about Flaw and other metal bands. It was actually when, since we do live close to Denmark, it's quite easy for us to get to Copenhagen. And in Copenhagen, they had this store along Strøget, which is like the main shopping street. It's quite long. And they had this shop there known as Fona or Fauna, and it was like an electronic store. On the first floor, on the ground floor, they had like video games, but on the third floor or second floor, I mean, they had music and movies, and they had a special room there only for metal. I remember that. It was like, it wasn't maybe not that big, but it was big enough for me and my friends. And I remember that because they were just blasting metal. There was always like a new metal band they were playing in there, cheap metal band, or not cheap, but cheap prices for certain metal bands. You could buy their albums quite cheap. And you found so many bands there thanks to that
Yeah.
store. So that's like very important for me because always when me and especially one of my best friends, yeah, it's hard saying that to you, but my childhood friend. I mean, it's sorry, it sounds really horrible, but one of my childhood friends there, we always went there. It was like really memorable. Just going in there, just
Yeah.
buying a lot of records, and then coming home and just listening to them, just blasting them on the speakers.
Yeah. And I never had that at all. That would like
Oh,
wasn't at all a part of how people got music, at least in my circles. Just a
mm,
few years later, which is kind of it's kind of too bad because it sounds like a lot of fun.
It was expensive,
But
but it was fun. I mean, I
yeah.
still have a lot of the records still left.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's another thing about that is like a lot of the songs that I listened to back then are lost. Like I put them on some external hard drive long ago, or on an MP3 player now.
Mm.
Nobody knows what it was or what it is.
So yeah, do you have another one you want to talk about? Or
No, that's basically how I got all my music.
Okay. Yeah, I have actually my third one. How I got to know what music was, like I said, a small town, not much happened, so you have to go outside. But we have a store here in Sweden, or a convenience store, you could say, always close to our public transport, known as Pressbyrån. They usually have a lot of magazines from around the world, especially English magazines. Usually it's quite expensive, but still, it's you can find some interesting comics and whatever you're having your interest in. But they had one that was called Rock Sound. I think that one still exists. It's like a metal, if it's British or if it's American. I think it's British. But always when you bought one of those not comics but newspapers, or that
Magazines.
you always magazines. Thanks, I totally forgot what the name was. Magazine. Always got a CD, CD with a lot of new bands coming up. So yeah, it was like always cool to listen because you could always find some bands. Because I remember, especially when Corey Taylor and Joe Jordison from Slipknot came, doing their side projects with Murder Dolls and Stone Sour. They actually recorded one of their songs from each album on one of their. So actually, I got to listen to one of the new songs from Corey Taylor on his new album with Stone Sour before many other people did. And my friend, that was quite cool with Get Inside, that album. So I remember that very fondly. I mean, you found a lot, especially in the magazine you're looking. There was like album covers, and you're doing like top 5. If you like this, you should listen. If you like this album, you should listen to this as well, and stuff like that. It was quite cool. I mean, for me, that was like, wow, cool. Yeah,
sounds really cool.
But they were expensive. Yeah, it was that time. I mean, yeah. But now we're going into something I think is really cool, and it's probably going to be for some people, it's going to be up for debate. Why are you doing these choices? And all that. Because some people say this and that. But this is like 5 must-have albums, or 5 albums like we really recommend.
Yeah.
So you want to start, Emil?
I can start.
Yeah.
Or can I? I had the same problem here before because I had a lot of entries and like candidates. I want to put as an honorable mention before I begin. I just felt like I should put a Tool album here. And the thing is, I only started to listen to Tool at all in 2021. Never been a fan, but now I became hooked on the song Numa. But that's obviously one of the newer songs. And I know Lateralis is like a huge album. So I put that as an honorable mention. I haven't listened to it enough to like say that it's great, but I know I know it's great, but I don't know if I think it's great, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so I just felt like I do. I obviously heard like Schism and Lateralis from the album. But if we were to do this again in like a year, maybe Lateralis would be on this list. I just felt like I should mention that. I don't know why. I want to start with which one shall we start with? I'll start with one you had in your first list of 5 albums, 5 important albums.
Oh.
Because when you say 5 must-have albums, I'm thinking like, okay, if you're a heavy metal fan, you need to have this. So I would say Mutter by Rammstein.
Good choice.
Yeah, I think so. That's a classic if there ever was one.
Yeah, that's cool. Unfortunately, I don't have Rammstein on this list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
how
I
it
can
goes.
use it as an honorable mention. Honorable mention. Honorable mention. That's good. That's a good album. That is, I mean, seriously, the fact that they're just singing in German instead of English,
Mm.
and it's just everything works with them, you know. And apparently they are quite big guys as well. I mean, I'm not that tall, but they're, yeah. I want to see them live. I want to see them live one
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
So do I.
So yeah. So my first one will actually be probably it's a band I really love them. I don't really like their new stuff, but this album to me is like one of the even I can even say it's right. I think this is one of the best metal albums ever made, in my opinion. Because it's so emotional. There's so much heaviness in that album, so much power. They really put so much effort into making this album. I think this still is their best album to date, and that is Machine Head with "Through the Ashes of an Empire."
Ooh.
I love that album. That's like wow, such a good album.
I've only really heard Locust
Yeah.
by Machine Head. That's like the one song I've heard.
Mm.
That's a cool song.
Yeah, I mean, I really like what their style. I really like their style. I mean, especially the
Yeah.
album after this Halo, or not the Awakening, or what's called Awakening, whatever. I mean, those were really long songs in there, but they have a very special style that really suits them. Their singer is really good. Just a good chemistry. I really like this album. Through the Ashes of an Empire. Over to you, my friend.
Yeah. Now I have a new problem. Not a new
Yeah.
problem, but my problem just got worse because I just thought of an album that needs to be on this list, but I have no idea where to
Make
fit
it
it
an
in.
honorable mention. Make it an honorable mention.
This one, no, this one can't be an honorable mention.
Mhm.
Like all these I have left now. Like in that case, like Muta would be my honorable mention because
Okay.
this one is better, or maybe not better. I don't know. Fuck it. This is 6 albums you must have. Screw the rules.
You make your own rules.
Yeah, I make my own rules.
Yeah.
This is now
Yeah,
my
that's good.
channel. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to have At the Gates in your because I know you really
I
like
need to have At the Gates in my must-have
them. Yeah,
list.
it's a must.
I didn't listen to them at all in my youth. I discovered them when I was, or in my youth, I mean, but when I was like 20 or something, quite late. But like, if you like In Flames or Soilwork or any of that kind of Gothenburg sound, you should listen to Slaughter of the Soul by At the Gates because that's where it all started. It's such a fantastic album. Like, again, like every song is just, yeah, it's incredible. Like the aggression and the speed, and at the same time the melodies, like the really cool, innovative music. It still holds up to this day.
That's good. Good
It
choice.
is. Thank you.
Yeah. So my number 2 or second one
Yeah.
is an album. I think you're gonna probably realize why didn't I put this on the list if you haven't.
Ooh.
Oh, that is actually a band known as Gojira, and that is From Mars the series.
I'm not gonna say anything yet.
I do. No, I do like Magma. I think that's a great album, but I don't know. I have started to listen more and more. I feel like From Mars to series is better, in my opinion. I mean, I do like Surrender, but I don't know. From Mars to series, my God, this is a
From
great
Mars to
series.
Series
It's
is
epic.
a very good album.
It's epic. It's epic. So that's
It's like
Gojira.
what is it? Flying Whales, the heaviest matter of the
Yeah,
universe.
heaviest where the dragons dwell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So up to you, my friend. What do you have? Show me.
That's actually quite funny because I have Gojira on my list. I do.
Mhm.
But I have 2 albums written down. One in brackets because I thought I should mention it. The one I put down, as in brackets, like as an honorable mention, I guess, is L'Enfant Sauvage.
Okay.
I think that's the style in that album is really cool. It's a bit more mellow in a way, a bit more like it's a bit softer. I don't know. It's really cool. But the one I actually like wrote down without any parentheses around it is The Way of All Flesh.
Mm.
So together we have covered 4 Gojira albums, including. I think that's quite cool. I wonder what our favorite band is. But The Way of All Flesh has like Vacuity, The Art of Dying. It has what is Toxic Garbage Island, I think. It has so many. Yeah, I can't find it right now. I'm drawing a blank. But
just say this: Gojira is a fucking awesome band.
Yeah, but when you say Mars to Sirius, I feel like, yeah, it's so hard to choose. They have so many great albums, and the same as I said about System of a Down before. I just realized that I have no System of a Down album on this list. It's gonna be a top 7.
You're just gonna change it up. I should have done top 10 instead, I guess. Yeah.
No, it's okay. But the thing about Gojira is like they're very consistent. Like their first few albums are kind of weird, kind of hard to get into. But from like The Way of All Flesh and onward, it's like such high quality. Every song is such a great band. We're going to remember them. When we're like old people are going to look back at Gojira the same way like our parents look back at Metallica, I think. In a similar way, not commercial success wise, but like musical, impression wise. I think so. They're gonna be big.
Beautiful words. So, my number 3 is actually quite a new album, in my opinion. But if we would do it like album of the year, this one would definitely be the album of the year last year. This is a group that I think is probably one of the most talented groups out there, in my opinion. What they are doing, it's Rivers of Nihil with the work. Seriously, people, you need to listen to Rivers of Nihil or Nile, whatever you pronounce that. Even the last album, where the owls know my name. I mean, seriously, how do you put a saxophone in heavy music and make it sound epic?
Yeah, I mean, like Ghost does it as well, but that's not the same.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? Like I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah. No, I think it's miasma, but anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Softer music, more dancing music, but like Rivers of Nile, but it just works. That's such a great song. I need to listen to them more, I think.
Yeah.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, now it's your turn.
Now, here's the thing. I think, how many have I done? I will do this, okay? I will do this, and then I will mention. I will do my top one last, like the number one. If you're just gonna own one, and I think everyone already does, but I'm gonna save it for last. But I'm gonna do 3 right now because I can't be bothered to sort. I'm too tired. It's Rage Against the Machine by Rage Against the Machine.
Oh.
The one that you mentioned earlier. Such a unique style, very like iconic. The songs are great. As you said, politically charged lyrics, like it's very powerful. Powerful music and delivered in a very cool style by Zach. Fun fact, I think Tom Morello's like dad or uncle or something was like the president of an African country.
No, he wasn't the president. He was what's called
like foreign minister or something, or an ambassador.
Yeah, foreign minister or something. Yeah, ambassador. He's an ambassador in South Africa, I think it was.
Something like that.
Right.
Very cool anyway. I'm also gonna say Toxicity by System of a Down. I feel you should have that album if you like heavy metal. Like it's essential. It's also like a very defining moment in metal history, especially the alt rock metal vibes. They go into kind of the same categories, Rage Against the Machine, but like 10 years later. And I also want to mention As the Palaces Burn by Lamb of God, or alternatively Ashes of the Wake by Lamb of God. Those are both great albums. It's really hard to pick between them, but at least one of them, I think. Lamb of God is also a great band.
I like that. Okay, cool. So
I got one left. I'll
should I-
save it for last. Okay.
Oh my god, how many do you have? Seriously.
That's the last one, I
like
swear.
Hey.
You want me to do it now?
No. Oh, it's my turn. I thought you said I have one more to say. No, okay. Then it's
Yeah,
my
but I'll
turn.
save it for last, I said. So I've waited.
Of course. So I had a problem there because I was like, there's one album that I really love. I think it's like, wow. It's from my youth, I guess. To me, it has one of my favorite songs in there because I like the history behind that song because it's so depressing, but I really like how the singer portrayed those emotions he had for something that happened. That's why he wrote the song. And it will be actually Mudvayne with the Lethal Dosage 50, or LD50 it's called. One of my favorite songs is Death Blooms by Mudvayne, because I think it's so much passion and that feeling. I like lyrics a lot.
Yeah.
In songs. So for me, that especially when you know the history behind them. So yeah, LD50 by Mudvayne. Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to put Mudvayne on here. I'm kind of
No,
surprised.
but I had a sweet spot for Mudvayne. I know some people think they're generic, but I mean, to me, they were special in my place because I mean, I actually loved them more than Slipknot, if I should be honest. Especially Lethal Dosage 50. To me, it's like one of the best albums I know of.
Yeah, they're a cool band. I've only heard a few songs though.
Yeah, I mean, Dig is one of them. Not Falling.
Yeah.
Words Are Cold. I mean, those songs. So
yeah. My top spot, was that your top spot?
No, it was just my
You have
second.
one more. My last one I want to mention, and the one I think is like, as I said before, I've already mentioned this one, and it's Master of Puppets. It's the quintessential heavy metal album. You might not like it, but you should have it. If you have a collection or something, you should at least respect it, I feel. Like, it's just such high quality heavy metal music, well written. Cliff Burton was still there doing his thing. The instrumentals, just a great album. I did put And Justice for All in brackets because you could make an argument for And Justice for All being a very definitive album as well. Because it stands out so much, like production wise, and notoriously the bass is like, you can't hear the bass, and the guitars are mixed really weird, and it's really claustrophobic sound, but it's still very iconic. And the songs are fantastically written. So, but I would say Master of Puppets.
Okay. Cool. So you did the Metallica. I have not put Metallica here, but I have put the band here.
I'm not surprised.
No. I mean, I do like Metallica, but this is a band I think. So I put what we call bracket, I guess, one album in the bracket and the other one first. I only liked their old stuff, if I should be honest. I don't like their new music style. They changed too much. It's a Swedish band and is known as In Flames. In Flames. And I would say, as a bracket, is Oracle. I think that is really, if you want to hear classic Gothenburg death metal, Oracle, definitely. But when they start changing before they start changing their music, I would say Clayman, definitely, is a must-have album. Only for the Week, Pinball Map. I mean,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Only for the Week to me is like one of my top 10 best songs. I just like that song. I think it's just so heavy and so well done.
Yeah, Only for the Week was one of those songs that I had on my MP3 player when I had like
Yeah.
5 heavy metal songs that I started to like. Only for the Week was definitely one of them.
I mean, that songs make me feel like I'm going into battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Yeah, it's
purge.
really heavy. Yeah, it's really heavy.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Thank you.
I
So
saw that coming, actually, Clayman.
Yeah. But I mean, now we're gonna do our last one. But I mean, like we said, if you're still watching, we're 1 hour in this one. It's quite a long one, but still,
Good
it
job.
has to be.
If you're still watching, good job.
Good job. We give you a thumbs up. Or
Yeah.
So now, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our top 5 whiskeys we have. We're not gonna show you the top 5 whiskeys, but we're gonna talk which one we had, our list. We're gonna use a song that would describe them. I guess it's quite weird, but still, I think it
Really
works
weird.
pretty well.
It was quite hard
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, but I want the challenge. I've been waiting 1.5 years to do this episode, so let's do this, Emil. You want me to
Yeah,
start?
I feel like I should go first, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Do it.
my number 5 pick for Whiskey of the Year was Craig Alecky, 13-year-old. And to me, that's a kind of funky, dirty. I think I call it a whiskey with an attitude at some point. So I put "Killing in the Name" by Rage Against the Machine. Like, yeah, someone screaming in your face, "Fuck you." That's kind of like Craig Alecky, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I feel like if any song should describe that whiskey, that's it.
Yeah, fucking that was good. Yeah, my number 5 was The Bastard by Starning, which is a Danish rye whiskey finished in mezcal. Weird combination. So I wanted to have a band that also has a weird combination, and that would be, believe it or not, Rivers of Nihil with The Void, which no sound can escape. Because mix it metal with saxophones.
Yeah,
Who thought that would have worked? So for me,
kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of weird, but it's epic. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Over to you.
My number 4 was High Coast Bay,
Yeah.
which for me is like it's obviously a Swedish whiskey. It's very powerful, very like full, and at the same time very like sweet and easy to listen to. So for me, the song that goes best with High Coast Bay is the song we just talked about, "Only for the Week" by In Flames.
Nice. You make me proud.
Thank you.
So my third one, or no, fourth one,
Number 4
was a guest. Number 4 was a guest by Bergslagen Swedish whiskey. Had cognac, peated cognac, and bourbon. So I thought like this: it's quite a little bit violent whiskey. It's not for everyone. You don't give this to a starter. So I thought of a band. Not many people might have heard of them. But this is Thy Art is Murder with Death Squad Anthem. Brutal, unpolizable, and you're gonna scare people away.
I've never heard that song, but just based upon I know the band, of course. Just based on the title, I can almost hear it in my head.
Death Squad Anthem by Thy Art is Murder. Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
So you want me to do my number 3?
Yeah, of course. Come on.
It was, and number 3 was the Edradur Caledonia, the 12-year-old. And it's kind of similar to the High Coast Bay in many ways. Sherry cask, very full-bodied, sweet, and a sherry bomb basically. But I felt like it might be weird that I put this because it's not a German whiskey, but I felt the same way. Like, this is very powerful whiskey, but easy to digest, very catchy in a way. So it's Du hast by Rammstein.
Good choice.
Very simple, but very good.
I like that.
So do I.
Cool. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I could definitely drink that whiskey and listen to that song.
Yeah.
I salute you. So my third place was actually the Whistler, a 7-year-old cask range from Ireland, an Irish whiskey. So I thought like this whiskey just came to me out of nowhere, and what also came out of nowhere was COVID. And this is a song that was recorded before in 2019, but their single came huge.
Sorry.
It's cattle decapitation with Bring Back the Plague.
I love how you connected those two.
Yeah.
I was
video.
I was 100% sure that one of us would mention that song in some context tonight. I didn't know how or when or who would do it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it happened the way it happened.
Yeah. It isn't the hero we want. No, we'll say in Batman. It's not he's the hero we need, but not the one we deserve. That was what that song was. We really needed that song during 2020.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A really cool song.
Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on from that. Well done, Fredrik. That was brilliant. My number 2 was the Oogie
Boogie.
the Ardbeg Oogedal or Weegedal. Yeah. And when I think of that whiskey, I think of Vikings sailing the high seas. Was it the pirates sail high seas? I don't know. I think of Vikings and it's very powerful. That's basically it. So my choice for a song to go with that feeling was Guardians of Asgard by Amon Amarth.
Never heard of that one.
Wow, I have to play that for you.
I know about Amon Amarth. I know about them, but I never really.
You need to listen to that song. It's a really cool song. It's Viking metal for those of you who don't know about Amon Amarth. It's the first time you hear them, it's gonna sound quite silly, especially the vocals. And it's really corny, like that kind of music. But it's really cool, and that song is fantastic. So the next time you crack open your Oogedal, listen to Guardians of Asgard as well. You won't regret it.
Cool.
I promise.
That's cool. So on my second place, I had the Bergslagen Werewolf. It was a Peter Madeira and bourbon cask. Amazingly good. Seriously, it was so good. It could have been my number 1. But when I tried that whiskey, there was one thing I realized. This is what Swedish whiskey will become and can become. Word dominating. So we need a song, to kickstart this revolution. So why not do with OTEP Trick? The revolution is coming.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that either though.
No,
but
it's quite
aggressive.
It
sounds fitting.
Yeah, the revolution is coming. Trick.
Yeah,
the revolution is coming. Yeah,
nice.
So
I guess I should go first with the number 1s then.
Yeah.
I thought my number 1 was the most difficult one.
Okay.
It's a Teeling 13-year-old single grain. And I feel like the thing that makes that whiskey so great is that it's so it's like a really soft, mild, sweet, mellow, a kind whiskey. It's like laying in a boat, rocking on a still lake somewhere, and the breeze and the leaves and stuff. So I thought it should be something peaceful. But when we're doing a metal episode, it's not easy to find something peaceful to put on there. So I had to go with, and I think it fits quite well. It's Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. Perhaps a bit more sad than I would like it to be, but I thought
one day
about
that
going
ball is
with,
going to be gone.
It is. That's true. That's true. But I feel like it fits very well, like a soft, easy to listen to song, just taking you down the road. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm kind of tired. You
It's
go.
okay.
Stop me.
My
Please.
number one for 2021 was Redbreast 21-year-old. So that was an amazing Irish whiskey. Wow. I was really pleased by it. That's why it was my number one. So a song that I heard, I think it has nothing to do with Ireland, but it's a European band. But I thought like this really got me in good mood. Such a good mood. I was thinking of like going partying actually. And why not better going partying with Hyper Hyper by Eskimo Callboy?
Nice.
What?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
at all what I was expecting you to go with.
No. But Eskimo
But I
Callboy
like
with
it.
Hyper Hyper. I haven't heard that song. Please do it. One of my friends, I sent it to her quite late in the night. She immediately told me, "You shouldn't have done that. Now I want to go out partying."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song will do that to you. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that, people. That is the Heretic. We hope you have stayed here for nearly 1 hour and 20 minutes. If you have, thank you.
And
Seriously.
we're sorry.
And we're not sorry. This was fun. I mean, seriously, I had a blast doing this.
I had a lot of
episode. I hope
fun.
you-
Yeah, so did I.
We hope you had too as well. Everyone's like, they're always having fun with each other, but we don't like watching what you do. Yeah. Sorry, people. So, yeah, people. As always, thank you so much for watching us. Stay tuned for next episodes coming. And stay safe. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff. You know. Emil, it's time to go to bed.
It is time to go to bed. I feel.
Yeah. So, people,
Cheers, guys.
take care, okay?
Good night. Sleep
Bye.
tight.
Bye.